Imagine you're living the dream. Just you, the open road, the wind in your hair, chasing sunsets across this vast, beautiful country. Sounds amazing, right? Well, for Gabby Petito, that dream came true, but tragically, it took a turn no one saw coming. Let me take you through her story, and we'll see how things went from perfect to heartbreaking. Gabby was like any of us. She had dreams, energy, and the courage to follow them. Born and raised in Blue Point, New York, she was always looking for adventure. From a young age, Gabby loved to travel, and when she met Brian Laundrie, it felt like fate. Together, they set off on the ultimate road trip, with plans to explore the U.S. in a van, documenting every moment. One of the things that really made Gabby shine was her passion for sharing her journey. Through Instagram and YouTube, she let the world follow along. Her energy was contagious. She and Brian made this dream their reality, visiting places like the Grand Canyon and Zion National Park, capturing beautiful moments together.
Look at this view. We're in the middle of nowhere. Honestly, it feels like we're in the perfect place. I love this life, Brian.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's nice to get away from everything. Just you, me, and the road, right?
Exactly. I don't think I ever want to go back to real life again. Who needs a 9 to 5 when you've got this?
I miss having a little bit of stability. A routine.
Come on, we're living the dream. What's better than this?
But you see, not everything was as perfect as it seemed. Beneath the cheerful smiles and scenic adventures, a darker truth lingered, unnoticed by most. Mid-August brought them to Moab, Utah, a place known for its stunning red rocks and tranquil beauty. But for them, it would become the backdrop of a sinister turning point. Tensions that had been simmering beneath the surface finally erupted, and what happened there wasn't just unexpected, it was chilling. That moment, in the quiet desert air, marked the beginning of a mystery that would leave everyone searching for answers. As they stepped out of Moab Grocery Mart that afternoon, the tension between Gabby and Brian was unmistakable. The golden sun hovered low, casting long shadows on the quiet parking lot. Despite the serene surroundings, the warmth of the day only highlighted the cold distance growing between them. Gabby's hands trembled as she tried to steady herself, her tears glistening in the light. Her voice faltered when she finally spoke, each word heavy with weeks of unspoken frustration.
I don't understand, Brian. We're supposed to be having fun, but all you do is get angry. What's wrong?
Brian stood a few steps away, his arms crossed tightly over his chest. His expression was cold, distant.
You're always so dramatic, Gabby. I'm just tired. Let me be.
Gabby swallowed hard, trying to steady herself. She wanted to stay calm, to keep the conversation from spiraling into another argument.
I'm not trying to be dramatic. I just want to enjoy this with you. Why can't we just talk like we used to?
Brian let out a heavy sigh, his gaze drifting to the horizon as if searching for an escape. Just drop it, okay? He said flatly, his tone void of emotion. We'll figure it out later. But Gabby could feel it, that sense of later slipping further and further away with every word left unsaid. It was a chilling moment, one that would later resonate with a tragic weight. A witness called 911, describing what they had seen. A young man, Brian, slapping Gabby in broad daylight. The distress in the caller's voice was unmistakable, an echo of concern that something was deeply wrong. When the police arrived, the scene was tense, uncomfortable. Gabby looked frazzled, her voice trembling as she tried to explain away the situation. She apologized profusely, brushing off what had happened as if it was all her fault. Brian, on the other hand, appeared eerily calm, detached even, as though he were an observer rather than a participant in the unfolding drama. The officers, caught in the complexity of the moment, chose not to escalate things. After some questioning, they decided to separate the two for the night, but ultimately let them go, believing it was just a misunderstanding. But that decision has since left an indelible mark. The footage captured by the officers' body cameras is haunting, a silent witness to what could not be undone. Gabby's nervous smiles and Brian's unsettling demeanor now play over and over in our minds, leaving us wondering, what might have happened if things had gone differently that day? What if someone had intervened more decisively? The questions linger, heavy with the weight of what was to come. Days turned into nights, and the tension grew with each passing hour. By the end of August, Gabby's family received a text from her phone. It claimed she was in Yosemite National Park, but Gabby wasn't there. Her family knew something was wrong. The tone, the wording, it didn't sound like her. It felt off. And then, after that message, there was nothing. Silence. Not a word from her. No updates, no calls, not even a post on social media. The kind of silence that fills you with dread. Then came September. Brian showed up at his parents' house in Florida, driving Gabby's van. Her van alone. No Gabby. He didn't call her family. He didn't answer their desperate messages. He didn't explain where she was. He just went about his life like nothing had happened. It was eerie. That silence, it wasn't just unsettling. It felt like a warning no one knew how to interpret. What had happened to Gabby? Where was she? And why wasn't Brian saying anything? Days stretched into weeks. Gabby's family was frantic. Her friends were searching for answers. Social media erupted, spreading her story across the country. Hashtag Find Gabby began trending, uniting strangers in a shared mission to bring her home. The search intensified. Volunteers, law enforcement, even internet sleuths joined in. Clues were pieced together, but still nothing definitive. The nation was watching, holding its breath. On September 19th, the truth came crashing down. Near a remote area of Grand Teton National Park, Gabby's body was discovered. The news spread like wildfire, leaving a trail of shock and heartbreak in its wake. The girl everyone had been searching for was gone. Her story ending in the very wilderness she had loved so much. But questions remained. Why? How? And who was responsible for this unthinkable loss? When Gabby's remains were discovered, the nation demanded answers. Attention immediately turned to Brian Laundrie, her fiancé, the person who had been with her in those final days. By the time authorities began their search, Brian had already disappeared. He left his parents' home without explanation, vanishing into the dense Florida wilderness. Weeks passed with no sign of him, despite exhaustive searches, media coverage, and growing public outrage. Then, on October 20th, a discovery was made in the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. Amongst the brush and marshland, human remains were found, later confirmed to be Brian's. Nearby, a backpack and a notebook lay in the mud. The notebook would reveal the truth, a confession. In his own words, Brian admitted, "I ended her life." The weight of those words was devastating, offering a chilling conclusion to a mystery that had gripped the world. It was determined that Brian had died by suicide, leaving behind only questions about his actions and the events leading up to Gabby's tragic death. Brian's story ended in the wilderness, far from the answers everyone sought. His decision to flee rather than face justice left a void, a lack of accountability that many struggle to reconcile. It's a stark reminder of the consequences of silence, avoidance, and untreated issues. But even in this heartbreak, there's an opportunity for reflection. How can we recognize and address the signs of unhealthy behavior or relationships before it's too late? How can we better support those who might feel trapped in cycles of harm, whether as victims or perpetrators? While the story of Brian and Gabby ended in tragedy, it has sparked critical conversations worldwide. Advocacy groups, families, and survivors are using this case as a catalyst for change, working to raise awareness about the signs of domestic violence, the importance of mental health support, and the need for intervention before tragedies occur. If this story has touched you, let it also inspire action. Together, we can create a world where no one feels lost, alone, or without hope. Thank you for watching and taking the time to reflect on this story. If you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out for help. Let's honor Gabby and others like her by working toward a better, safer future for everyone. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Together, we can keep these conversations alive and ensure that no one is forgotten.